Welcome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yo, we're not psychiatrists, psychologists, all those gists that are important.
Although Taboo is now a pastor, so
Pastology.
I'm a bishop. Correction, I'm actually a bishop.
Who's higher? Bishop is higher.
Yes.
Bishop. Okay.
I'm a bishop.
What do bishops do? Do they go into the pulpit?
We play chess.
That's another topic.
All right, yeah. So today's topic. Would you adopt a child even if you have children? Especially in our African community.
Yes, if you got sheets.
Elaborate.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Some people.
why? That's the first question.
Yes. Why would you?
Why would you? Okay. I'll give you an example of this lady. She's got 2 kids with her husband, but over time she then realized that she went to an orphanage and then she just got touched, and then took 2 other kids from there.
Right.
And she raised them like their own. One of them was actually way older than her 2 kids. And I think the guy is actually finished varsity now. He's an engineer and stuff. And it's quite commendable when I see how she raised them. But I personally, I don't think I would be able to. Because
you don't have the heart.
I don't have the heart. Because
Me too.
you're bringing in, because he was like 13 when she adopted him. You're bringing in
a teenager.
a real grown-ass teenager.
Kamuru maker.
Yeah, and I've got a 6-year-old daughter,
Baby
and I don't
man.
even know this kid's background and everything. So
Ukanachishikirwa manero.
Yo.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially as black. Yeah, as blacks, this whole spiritual shit. I don't know, eh? But I've seen it's kind of like a trend. Maybe thanks to Hollywood.
I
Look
think
at Madonna be doing it left,
Yeah,
right, and center.
exactly. Yeah.
So,
But Madonna didn't have kids then when she started bringing in other kids. Did
and
she?
what is it? Charlize Theron as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now they got like 5, 6, 10 kids, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like a trend. Like it's a
Angelina
fashion
Jolie,
trend.
Yeah. So we were
what's
thinking
to
about
adopt?
it.
What's the definition?
To adopt.
Yeah.
To adopt, I think, is to bring in somebody into your family and take them in as your own.
So by that
Let me
definition, Chamarga,
It's like to adopt a religion, for example. You know, you're taking ownership.
So are you saying, before you give us the proper definition?
Yeah.
Are you saying, Guti, if my cousin comes and stays with me as grown man as he is, I've adopted him?
You know, that's actually a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have I adopted?
All right. Let him read. Then I think I've thought of something. I gotta let you know.
Adoption is a process whereby a person assumes the parenting of another, usually a child from that person's biological or legal parent or parents. Legal adoptions permanently transfer all rights and responsibilities along with filiation from the biological parents to the adoptive parents.
Okay.
So you actually for example, with
Going
Vuvu,
through
Vuvu
the
stops
legal-
being a Monda
And then
and becomes a Motsi completely.
Your in-law.
No say
Yes.
whatsoever.
Okay. So
Wow.
it was in African culture. In Ninin, I was my major part of my growing up. I grew up with my grandmother. My mom was there. My dad was there.
Yeah.
But because of work and situations, I had to go kwa Gogo.
Yeah.
So did Gogo adopt me for that period? Was I adopted? Am I adopted? Because it was like, okay, let me give you an example.
No, you actually knew who your
No, I
parents were,
think not, because according to this definition, there's a legal process and
There is a
transferring
legal
of
process.
transference of rights and okay.
Yeah.
So then
and custody.
But in African culture now, we never had that. Remember with that line, everyone's child, you know. So your child is also my child.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
If God forbids anything happens to me, you take over Mandipa. And
But that's different.
no, it's the same. I'll tell you why. Yes, there's no that whole legal, but it's you're 100% responsible for that person. You take them to school, you take them, and the parents of that person now have no say whatsoever, because sometimes maybe they're late, and you're my uncle or even your grandma would be totally responsible for. She would whoop your ass if you didn't do your homework because she's now your parent.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, in the legal definition. But Munomu, there's children's homes. What's it?
Yeah,
What's it called? I think it's called Nyaradzo.
Yeah. That is quite a lot. Yeah. So Harare children's home.
Yeah.
So
Because there's fostering and then there's adoption.
Okay, what's fostering now?
Okay.
Let's
All right.
find out the legal definition.
maybe your Gogo as your foster parent.
Maybe go
Because my friend Nyasha was a foster child, and when her parents died in the war, the liberation struggle, there were 5 of them. So all of them were then taken up by different families.
Or one.
And she grew up with another, Caucasian family. The brother was taken up by another and so forth. But they all knew each other and they would visit each other every now and again.
Oh.
But these guys were now their foster parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so temporary custody or guardianship for children whose parents are dead or unable to look after them.
So I was a foster child.
They were voluntarily placed in foster care.
So I was a
So
foster.
it's Africans who've always been fostering then.
They
Not
were-
adoption.
Not adoption. We're
Yeah.
fostering. Okay.
Because the person will still have their own surname, they would know their parents and
So
everything. But
so this is. I've learned something new today.
yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
But for me, when it comes to adoption, I think I'm split. I think I'm not comfortable. It depends, first of all, how old this person is.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're older than maybe 2, they already start having a
Wait.
personality.
Wait. 2.
2 years.
2 years.
That's your threshold.
Because look, they start developing a personality.
From about 3.
Yeah.
2,
But-
2, 3.
Yeah, that personality comes from them observing and seeing the people who are raising them, and
Yeah.
and not to mention sometimes there can be things that are passed down genetically. There,
Yeah.
Yeah.
spiritual
Yeah.
things that are surrounding that person. No, honestly,
Are you for
speaking,
real?
No, he's got a point.
I'm uncomfortable with.
No, he's got a point. I watched this other horror. It was a horror movie though, because the adopted kid ended up being, serial killer.
Nasty little fucker.
But so this little girl, right? She was adopted at like 7, and then her sister was, I think, 5, and then they had like an older sister was like 12, but the older sister was adopted elsewhere. So apparently, they used to get abused by their real
You see,
father.
this is the other thing.
From the age of like 1 or 2, they used to get raped. So when this couple took them in, they did
didn't
not
know.
know.
That was
Yeah.
kind of trauma.
So
that they
you
were going
imagine, like with my daughter, we hang out and we go swimming together and so forth, and you don't know that this person has got certain traumas, and how you are maybe hugging or kissing this girl is bringing that up.
Shared
And,
trauma.
yeah, and sometimes there was a time when she even would go to the cops and accuse him of raping.
You see, so for me, things like that where I worry, Kuti, if this child has been abused, their relationship with men is totally
Yeah.
messed up, And sometimes you find, Uti, there's sometimes people who throw themselves at men. A lot of the times, like, there's abuse somewhere there.
There's abuse somewhere, yeah.
And you're just filling in that role. And I don't want to deal with all that psychological
jargon.
Yeah. I think it's important I would adopt, but I would want to know the real history
Full.
and then go through.
You expect a human to tell you the
No, I think
the full
the
full story.
If the social welfare,
Especially
crew or
if
whatever.
they can't take care of that child.
They'll be like,
sometimes
yo,
they
don't-
won't, yeah. But it's important. It's important to know,
He's good, he's good,
and
he's
then
good.
if it means you go for counseling as a family and so forth, so that it's yeah.
You see, that's the thing about that.
Because those kids need love too. Who's gonna raise them?
Yeah.
Who's gonna protect them?
Yeah.
Especially if they're coming from that kind of background.
That's the thing about that. It's a tricky one because, first and foremost, us being certified marriage people,
Yes.
you have to first, if you, depending on who wants to do this within your partnership, you may find
Usually the wife.
Yeah, usually, because of whatever reasons,
Yeah.
medical or whatever.
Yeah.
You may find that you may get pressure to say, no, listen, what's the problem? Let's just get a child. There's no the plus side is there's no childbirth issues.
Yeah.
The child is here.
Yeah.
Let's just love this child and let them be our child. But then, like what he's saying, now it's generational things.
Because we're spiritual beings.
yeah,
You
as
could
African-
inherit
As Africans,
a
there's
certain
a lot of traits. Health. I'm not going that deep though, but health.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hope,
yeah, I'm just kidding.
hope traits, health traits,
Yeah, traits, yeah.
even behavioral traits
Yeah.
that may be that were influenced before you even got there.
Like right. Like a DNA strain of cancer
or whatever,
something.
whatever the case may be.
At least if you know, I think.
Yeah. So you'll find that it may be easier to adopt when this child hasn't maybe newborn, Jay.
Yeah.
May be easier than having to deal with. I admire your friend, the one you're talking about, where 13-year-old. Whoa,
Yeah.
that's a big step. That's a very big step.
She's amazing. Yeah.
And
She's amazing. She's amazing.
can I ask you a question? It's gonna sound so racist. Have you ever heard of a black person adopting a white child?
Never.
No.
Not.
No.
No.
But apparently it has happened, and it somehow it never really works.
Even
properly.
the other way around.
Why is that,
also-
though? The other way around is
Yeah, it
more
works.
common.
Okay, in our community, it's hard. Okay, I've got a friend of mine who's white, and she struggled to find a white baby. When she wanted, she ended up getting a
Was she
mixed
based
race.
here?
Yeah, here.
Okay.
She ended up getting a mixed race because it's such a small community. Everybody knows everybody. So those that maybe don't have parents end up having somebody taking care of them. So she ended up getting a mixed race kid.
So what does that say about us, though?
About us?
Yeah.
Nah, I think it's just statistics.
What are you talking?
We're in the majority, so there's a higher chance that in the children's homes,
nice save.
they just black
Nice
kids.
save. Nice save.
Yeah.
Nice save.
Come on, don't we have like 100,000 or 50,000 whites only? It's really a small.
Yo, they're out there. They're out there.
Yeah.
They
They're
come
papered.
out. They come out when there's rugby.
Yeah,
and
they're
there's
papered.
cricket. You find them. They'll come out. Yeah, but when it comes to adoption, it's just some people got a bigger heart than others.
Yeah.
It's life. Because some people can deal with that kind of baggage. But
I think I will adopt, but cousins. I don't
you
mind.
foster, you mean?
Or
Foster.
foster. Yeah, or foster.
Now that I know,
But I
some
think
I don't mind taking
even
in cousins and so forth.
fostering sometimes can be complicated because you really need to have a big heart.
yes,
Because for me, when it's fostering, once someone's character is developed, doesn't matter sometimes how much you love someone. If they have serious character flaws, you may try to. I'm sure we've all seen that clip of this guy who rescues a sheep from a ditch, and then he pulls it out, and it's like there's like a long trench, so it was stuck in there. The guy, with some effort, pulls it out. What does it do? Runs behind him and jumps up and into the into the trench again. See, now,
that's long.
how long is your patience to deal with situations like that?
come on.
Like, how do you deal with how?
With
Because
the sheep.
also for me, the other thing is I fear abuse. Not like sexually, but imagine getting upset and angry.
You don't have any connection with this person. It's like, it doesn't sit right.
Yes. So for me personally, those are some of my fears to say, look, if I get upset at this person, doesn't matter. I mean, there's the right and the wrong in terms of what the person is doing. When it gets to a certain level, that becomes like now, like as it's nabas.
Yeah.
You've done chinchaka shot.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't even want to be in that situation. But bringing it back to you, Tab, are you willing to consistently then foster this person? They've got a character flaws. Are you serious?
No, it's tough. I'll tell you why it's tough. Okay, my daughter is still growing, but Ashley's daughter is older. There's a time when you told me that they get to a stage where, as they're developing and they're now thinking they're grown, they even say some nasty stuff like, I hate you. You know, you remember when you told me about that? And so imagine now you're trying to discipline somebody who's not your own, and they know that you're not their real father.
That I assumed around.
Yeah, and then you say,
you're
you're not even my father. F you, you know, and the type of thing. And how will you take it? Are you gonna be the adults in this?
I
Wait, especially teenage years, and she's out slutting, jumping girls and all that stuff, and you know.
Listen to me, bro. That stuff, adopting, this is a reality we have to face. Adoption is for a certain very, very, very patient individual.
Yes.
You have to have the heart, like I was saying, and
You gotta
the
have the
patience.
heart.
And you must know what you're getting into. Don't think that
Count
it's
the
like
cost.
It ain't Hollywood. Oh, Rosy.
No. I'm Madonna
Ugly.
today. No. You gotta take care of everything.
You gotta.
The flu days. There's gonna be days when they're sick.
Yeah.
There's gonna be days when they're almost when they're happy. There's gonna be days when they're sad. There's gonna be days. So you have to deal with all of
All
that.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the father. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, you can't switch off. Once you commit, you can't switch off.
And you also can't show discrimination between
Yes.
your child, Mandy, and
That's another thing.
the other child.
I think let's get into that.
You know, it's gotta really look like, you know, this is who you are, these are your principles,
Yes.
whether
Let's
it's
get
the
into
real
that.
biological child or and that's hard.
It's hard to do that. It's very hard to do that. I'll tell you no word of a lie. It's even with your little.
Yeah.
The thing is, do you know what happens with our culture? Our culture, Eluga, addresses that in a way, but we've sort of stepped away from that somehow because of naming things. Do you know why we say cousin sister?
No.
It's wrong English, yes.
It's
but
wrong
do you know
English.
why we say that?
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing in our language, in our culture.
Yeah, because it's
Because everyone's your sister.
Yeah.
And everyone's your
and
brother.
everyone's your brother. Yeah.
So but zvakachekwa zvezvega, and we started trying to
It's my cousin
compartmentalize.
grandmother.
yeah.
My cousin grandmother. Yeah, no, cousin grandmother.
Guys, I never heard of such. Guys.
So zvakaitika ndezvekuti takuda kucompartmentalize, and
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah.
separating the
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Because in Kudara,
Yeah.
at this present moment, me and all of my brothers.
Yeah. I remember when you introduced me to what's his name? To me.
You didn't know that
my
he's
brother.
he's
Yeah.
my cousin.
No,
He's
ever.
my brother, that's
you
it.
never ever spoke.
There's no such.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
think
such.
Because there's
also
no such
that
thing.
depends on your family culture,
Yes.
because you will find it happens sometimes,
Mm.
and I see it at events like when you do weddings.
Mm.
You have some families where you can't tell who's the parent because it's like everyone is like
Yeah.
you know. Then when you're then even showed the parents, you're like, oh, okay,
These are the ones. Okay.
yeah. And then there's some where
It's very distinct.
it's very distinct. There are camps, you know, and there's that culture, and I think those are some of the things you also have to
Yes.
consider. And I think
even
also,
when at adoption.
yeah, and also I think another angle we may not be considering is by adoption, as a couple, are you seeing eye to eye concerning
The raising of this kid.
or even just the decision to adopt?
That's the thing. That's what I was saying before. One may be into it more than the other. You have to be together when you're doing this.
I think it's easier when you don't even have kids.
It's easier.
Yeah. I mean, it's still hard, but it's kind of easier. But imagine this: I've got my daughter. You know, I'm so close to my daughter. Like we're like twins. You know, I see myself in her. And then now I've got another child. As much as I love that other child and so forth, if they all need to go to college, and my daughter, she wants to be a ballerina, right? And she wants to go to X college, whatever university that was gonna help help progress your career. And I can afford it, but if I do put all the money there, that's gonna mean this kid won't. I most likely will put everything towards.
Do you know what?
And it's gonna look wrong.
And there's another story I heard where this actually happened, where same situation you're describing, but then you decide not to take your daughter and then your daughter grows up blaming
the other
equity. My life could have been different if it wasn't for you.
And the adopted kid is like a straight A student, like super smart, like Barack Obama type shit. You know what I mean? And your daughter or your son is like dumb as fuck. But think about it. You know, I've seen it like that. In I won't mention names, but in my own family, where someone took in a cousin, whatever, or somebody whose parents are now late, but they were all related, and that child becomes such a superstar. But they end up getting discriminated.
There's resentment.
That child actually grew up with resentment. Even the dad was kind of like abusive and all this stuff. Why? Because they just grew up feeling like people didn't like them because they were just so. Even without the support, they still aged. They still went to varsity. You know, my cousin now is in like. I can't mention the country, but it's now diaspora. He's doing amazing. He's got his own practice and all this stuff, and now he's the one who's taking care of even the siblings. His siblings were not like blood.
I think Papa Panama dynamics. There are a lot of dynamics there because besides you agreeing as a couple, you know, do you involve your child in the decision to say, hey, this is what we want? Do you have a conversation with?
That's a very interesting one because. Because
so my friend now who adopted this kid was like 13, and I said, you know, the kid now graduated and all. I never knew that this kid was adopted because I'd always introduce him as the firstborn. And they gave him so much responsibility. He is the one who would make the decision. They'd go on holiday and say, you're in charge. What you say goes. And the family all grew up knowing that, believing that he was the firstborn.
And then another aspect of it
and I love that about it.
Is when it comes to property rights, you pass away, and then there's this kid who happens to be the firstborn. What happens there?
Let me give you a story. So there's this guy. He married a chick who had a child, you know, with somebody else. But from a deadbeat dad, you know, useless, horrible. So this guy was papered. So what did he do? He went to this guy in private, spoke to the real dad of the kid and said, you can't take care of this kid. Do you really want this kid? The guy said, I don't give a damn. Like, I'll pay you X amount. Give me the rights. We'll change the kid's birth certificate, everything, to my name. And we never want to see your ass.
Ever.
He paid
Can
off
I ask
the guy.
you a question? Your chick who you've done this for cheats on you. You catch her. What happens there? What happens to this kid?
Why are you complicating life?
Why? Come on,
Guys,
man.
Why are you complicating life?
This is the real
Why are you
life.
complicating,
This
man?
is the real life.
I was telling you a great
People
story,
do not
man.
sail into the sunset
This is,
like that.
this is an amazing story.
Okay, so then what happened with the kid?
The kid is amazing, and he actually treats the kid as we never knew until the one of the brothers actually told us that this is what this guy did. Nobody knows.
Okay, but I'm saying hypothetically.
Could you watch
You've done this gesture and then this chick
on.
cheats on you.
Oh,
which
shit.
one? The
That's complex.
Wait.
The chick that you've done that amazing. Like if it's, let's say, my wife and she had a kid from elsewhere, and I've done this, taken in this other kid as my own, changed. Now the kid is a Motsi, and is entitled to the trust. As my firstborn.
And
then my chick, my wife, then.
That's nothing to do with the kid, man. There's nothing to do with the kid. What's the kid done? It's just his mother doesn't know how to keep her legs crossed.
There's no future.
So you're telling me that you'd leave the Guan like that?
Do you know what, Ka? I'll leave the mother, chill with the kid. You know why I would do that? Because I've invested. Let me tell you why. I've invested in this kid, and this kid has done nothing. Your
Okay,
mother,
okay.
I'll
Look,
do the
can I
same. I'll
can
do
I
the same.
rephrase?
I'll do the same.
Can I you found her deep in some nasty
Oh
shit.
my god! But why would you blame
I'll
the
take
kid?
care of my kid.
Guys,
He's still my kid. I'm a man
Do
of
you know
integrity.
what my revenge is? My
I'm a man of
revenge. My
integrity.
revenge is making sure that this kid grows up.
That's my revenge too.
Hey, and she's not.
That's my
And he's
revenge.
got nothing to do with it. It's got
Yes.
nothing to do with you. You're
Yeah.
divorced. We had a prenup.
And I'll
just
celebrate it to the whole world that
Yeah.
I raised this kid by myself and he's amazing.
and that right there is the chairman of the Sims Club.
Simping, you're not simping to the kid.
I'm not simping
that's
to
not
the
point.
kid, man.
Are you telling me there's no part of you but cannot?
Obvious.
No, obviously.
You
But
want
it's
to look
not
at
do-
you want to see that kid at some
I'll
point
blame
or
the
it's that something.
Jungana Jani Greenish.
I
Okay,
won't blame
all right.
But come on,
Okay,
what's the
okay,
kid done?
I
Okay,
won't blame the
okay.
kid.
Let's say
But it's the same. Okay.
no. Let's say
Yeah.
we're assuming this kid is well behaved. Let's say this kid is not well behaved.
He's a nasty.
It's the nastiest.
Why you have to
guy.
complicate things, man?
Yeah.
Will
no.
you still feel the same?
Normally, people don't adopt people that they don't like. Normally.
Guys, we all know kids. We all know kids.
Especially the teenage years.
We all know
I
kids,
know.
guys.
I understand. They switch. They switch up bad guys.
Especially character.
And then when they start looking for their dad, their real dad, especially the girl child, she's gonna look for a real dad.
Definitely. There's no doubt.
Even if the dad is horrible, like useless,
it's still the dad. I know.
they'll still say, "I want my dad."
You're not my dad.
So would you still keep them in the trust?
I would. I'm a man of my word. I would. It's only money, man. I'll be dead and gone anyway. Who gives a damn?
Your kids give a damn. Your other kids give
No,
a damn.
they're getting their fair share too.
Do you know it's different, guys?
No, I'll give them.
It's different.
Come on, I'll be flipping a billionaire. Who gives a damn? 100 grand to
Guys.
this kid, 100 grand. Come on.
You know, like, so for me, these are some of the questions where before we're in the peak of love, you know, the birds are singing and what. We're making
Dolphins
all
are
these
kissing.
we're making all of these commitments. I think it's very important to think through, Kuti.
Yeah.
Am I a ride or die with this kid?
Exactly. You must think about it.
I agree.
Yeah. Once you make that, okay. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, once you make the commitment to adopt anyone, that's it.
Game over.
Yeah, that's
Game
it.
over.
That's
You're
it,
not.
game
You
over.
can't go buy.
You can't. Don't mess around with someone's life.
You can't then say.
If you can't, just don't.
Refund. Refund.
No, ain't no half stepping, man.
Ain't
no
And then
That's
also consider your kids, because those kids might end up having. Because imagine like
Resentment.
situation where you mentioned with this kid's like a whiz, and then your
Yeah.
actual kids
Your
are
actual
struggling. You know that
obviously you
that
can't.
can scar someone for life. Yeah.
They're flipping useless. You know, there's some kids that are just useless.
You can't say that.
You can't say that.
No, guys,
Can't
there's
say
some
that.
kids who, I know some kids who are smart, they pass, they got straight A's, but they're useless.
But you know what?
Like flipping
There's
useless.
a book I'm reading right now. It's called Millionaire Mind. In the section I'm on, they're talking about that, where they did a research where I think it's like a sequel. The second book from the first book was called The Millionaire Next Door. So they found that the people who are actually millionaires are not your typical people who we think are millionaires. They are not very flamboyant. They're not. They live certain lifestyles that guarantee success. And then one of the traits, the part I was reading, is talking about where Rema tests and grades is a very poor judge of what someone will be. And actually, the guys who don't become A students have a high likelihood of becoming financially successful because they life. So he gives this example that life is not easy, and when you learn to deal with difficult things earlier, you are able to succeed later because
But getting straight A's is handling difficult situations.
no.
I was a straight A kid.
There's some kids who
It ain't easy.
there's some kids who like for me, I'll give an example. I did my economics in uni, but it was tough. There was like a lot of I would pass, but it would be after like a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. And I had classmates who never studied. The guy would be sleeping, but they just catch things
quicker.
Attacked.
Man.
So anyway, my point is what was I saying?
You're saying Gucci, I think the point you're trying to make is that are you able to deal with the fact that your kids are not as smart as the adopted kids?
Yeah, that will scar these kids for life. I think it's something you need to consider when you're adopting. Maybe I don't know.
So what? Wait. I'm gonna say some controversial. So what you say is that if you have to adopt a dumb kid. Is that what you say?
No, I'm just saying that. Look, think through.
Intelligent kids need adoption too, Costa. They do.
No, do you know what? Just think through.
Oh my God. Oh.
Think through.
I'm just saying. Remember that what this show is called. I'm just saying what y'all thinking. I'm just saying.
But it's a great perspective, especially because we're married. We are talking from experience.
Yeah, because I had a very interesting conversation with my daughter. I think about a year ago. So we're talking and like, so would you want another brother or sister? She looks at me dead in the eye, right? She's like, no, I think I'm enough for you.
Wow.
I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I mean, you don't need another kid.
Trust
me. I'm enough. I'm like, okay. Why do you say that? She's like, no. Why?
I'm so wonderful.
Why? Why would you need another kid? I'm like, okay.
That sounds so narcissistic.
She's okay. That's
like
another topic.
Creative.
She literally
like
believes
creative.
the world revolves around
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
Creatives.
Yeah.
Creatives have issues.
So, what is our conclusion here, ladies and gentlemen?
Personally, do what you want.
Do what you want for real.
Yeah, but just think about the concept. Think everything.
Think through.
Life isn't as rosy as it appears.
Yeah,
Especially being
your
a parent.
decision affects others.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not. It's not going to be just.
It's not just
another
you.
thing we
Yeah,
forgot to
parent.
talk about. If you have your parents are alive, your granddad, everyone else around you is probably going to have something to say about that.
Yeah.
As in your wife's parents,
Yeah.
your in-laws,
Yeah.
everybody's gonna go. Oh, hey,
Because
whoa.
that child is also walking into their
And
life.
imagine you're adopting a kid
and
your sibling has the kids and he's not able to take care of
his kids.
Yeah. What will your family say?
What? Yeah. What kutora vana vanhingirikini here kuti kana ungashida vana.
That's actually quite.
Yeah,
Especially in the African context.
African context,
yeah.
There's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, that you know what, Jeffrey's kids aren't going to school, but you're adopting this kid and taking them to Peter House or some fancy.
Yeah, and
spending 5 G's a term.
Yeah, and how about your
brother's
brother's
children?
Who just needs $50.
Yeah. And what do you what? So what? And you're taking care of a person who's not blood.
This is
It's deep.
It's actually I never thought of it that way.
You know what happens now? Because you got to deal with a lot of things. You got to deal with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Also, normally the kid that's been adopted, I'm not sure, they may not have anyone for them, but you'll find people who come out of the woodwork later. No, Pakurora. That's a deep one.
They will look, especially a girl child will look for their dad.
Yeah, they'll have to.
Yeah.
It's not depend. If it not depend what stories that child is. Because as kids, you're gullible. You're likely to believe certain stories.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Your mom will tell you your dad was a deadbeat.
you see.
Your daddy ain't.
But she's the one who was the hoe.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have things like that happening where they'll paint the parent like this unreasonable person.
Yeah,
And
they were
only
not.
maybe when you grow up, the also find out, no, but wait a minute.
Yeah. You know, that's the weird thing.
Yeah.
Things come out pakurora, negurora.
They come out.
About parenting and what
Yeah.
it comes out very apparent.
I watched this documentary on what's it? This Netflix special, Kevin Hart. And how he forgave his dad and then took him in. You could tell that the dad was just deadbeat. Even in his old age, you could tell that this guy
doesn't give
he's just up to the money. He doesn't give a shit. You can tell.
That you got the energy, the aura.
That Kevin is really trying hard, to bring him into his life. Because I think his mom is now late and all that. But no, the mom was the champion. She was a hustler. She worked hard to take care of kids. But he still felt a void that I want my dad in my life. But
I'll
the
give
dad
you
is
a good example. Like Kanye West and his dad. But he the way he talks about it now compared to the way he used to talk about it is different.
Because now he's older. I remember,
And now he has the story from his dad's perspective. To say, look, he actually wanted to be.
Yeah.
But his mom was a professor somewhere.
Yeah.
His dad is also an intellectual somewhere else.
And
it's like
the mom's family didn't want this guy involved.
So
he realized it after his own divorce, especially. That's when he saw history is repeating itself. This the woman's family is like, we don't want this guy around. Okay, but he really wanted.
So people can spin stories now.
People can spin lots of stories.
Yeah, but
But it's sad.
It's sad.
But I think I would adopt. And maybe because I know how my wife is and how she feels really strongly about helping. And it's rubbed onto me. Yeah, I think it would make really good foster parents.
And okay, there's gonna be the reason why I was talking about the races between adoption and so forth.
Yeah.
Would you consider a different race?
Never.
No.
Wow, that was very racist.
Never.
Why never? Never is a very big never.
No, I do know what. I remember there's a episode we spoke about lies and not having to answer all the questions.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I don't have to answer.
You don't have to answer that. All right, cool. But all I'm saying is that I'm just saying.
Okay,
would I adopt a little white boy?
Yeah.
I think that's not my spiritual chakutika, mwea or anything is niggas really attached to. I think that's really clean.
The only way,
That's what you think.
the only way I'd go and adopt, I'd go to States and adopt from there.
Not from
No,
Zimbabwe.
actually, they are coming to get from Africa.
So we go there. Yeah, no, it's an interesting one because yeah.
How
Anyway.
do you if it's a great publicity stunt?
Now tell me something. Okay, there's another thing that's going on here. You know that we got a lot of it's going to be controversial again. There's a lot of there's a lot of mixed babies coming out now because of the Chinese community coming through. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So these chicks are getting pregnant with these dudes, and these dudes are refusing. And you'll find it's gonna blow up sometime or not. There's a lot of
Chinese babies.
yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of Chinese babies coming, especially around the
The future
construction
is
sites.
brown.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be adopting some pretty soon.
No, a mixed child I'll adopt.
Honestly
Mixed child I'll
speaking,
adopt. I grew up amongst mixed races, so I would adopt.
I've got questions, but I can only ask them
Yeah.
after
Offline.
I would adopt a brown baby. Mixed child I'll adopt. Indian child I'll adopt.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's if they'll let you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know, but one parent, while you're still trying to sign the paper,
Sorry, we found
found
Mr. Muhammad is coming to.
I'm just saying.
a better
I'm
fit.
just saying.
Is a better fit. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Remember.
Nah, but it's great, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
One love. Let's love each
Yeah.
other.
Love the child, and but
Yeah.
be prepared for
Yeah,
what you're getting
exactly.
into.
Yeah, some of the greatest people in the world have come
have
from.
been adopted.
Yeah, adopted. Somebody gave them a chance.
More are not great.
Cancel.
Shucks. Because you
This
are
guy's getting cancelled on social media.
Because you hating babies, man.
You hating babies now? Huh? We having beef with babies?
Having beef with babies now? Oh man! But remember, hey yo, there was a disclaimer before we
We're
started.
just
We're
saying.
just saying. Come on now, calm down.
And I'm
Please
high.
don't cancel
Actually
us.
bought me a can of beer. So I'm sipping.
Beards and nuts.
Yeah, beer is nuts. That's actually good.
Yeah.
You get the hospital.
So remember to like, share, subscribe.
Comment. Yeah.
And when the t-shirts come back,
Buy the merch.
Buy the merch.
Buy the merch.
Yeah.
remember we're
Just
just saying.
saying.